Now I'd like to turn to three people that are going to talk about a card model that is going to be built on a build along on our show. The first one is Paul Egret, who is the designer of the card model. The card model to be built at a service station. It's going to have a complete interior that you can add to it. And it's really a nice little model. It's available for download by everybody for free on our website, newtraxmodeling.com, as of tonight. And we have a scale chart that indicates how to get the scale that you want downloaded, because the scale that's shown is in HO. So if you want to get it in S scale, you have to enlarge it. If you want it in N scale, you have to decrease it. But there's a scale chart in there to show you how much those percentages are. So Paul designed it, and then two great modelers, David Rarick and Father Ron Walters, are going to be building it using their techniques for card modeling. So gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and I'll turn it over to you all.
Thanks for having us on, Jim.
Well, David, I really do appreciate it. Well, David, you're one of the builders of this model. Tell me a little bit about your techniques and how you're going to build it.
Okay. I noticed that Father Ron uses a totally different technique than I do, so probably should explain him a little bit. I use drawings pretty much as they come off the printer, okay? Paul does a design. His designs are not really a kit. I like to prefer to call it more or less like a scratch building supplies that you would use to make a model with. The biggest difference is that we use paper and cardboard as opposed to milled siding and laser cut components. I think it's a little bit harder in some respects because you have to do all the cutting yourself with a knife. Whereas if you buy a laser cut kit, pretty much the cutting is already done for you. So it's a little more labor intensive. I think the final appearance is good enough. Let's put it that way. It's not an upfront showroom type model, but if you need something to just fill the space on your layout or act as a background model, it looks really good. And when you assemble it correctly, make it nice and square and neat, it can look pretty effective. So I'll be building mine as I think the way most card models are built, which is just cutting out the paper components and then gluing them together in the form of a structure. Father Ron, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm using kind of a different approach. As Paul has done, he's put together these this building in print form, and I've followed you, and I've looked at the things that Clever Models have done. I wanted to basically use it as a template and build from scratch with cardboard and some bracing of 1/8 inch square basswood. I wanted to do this because a lot of people start out in scratch building with very little at hand and think they have to go out and buy a lot of stuff to do scratch building, when sometimes they have things already at hand that they can use. So I'm using Paul's drawings as templates and actually starting out with a base cardboard that is a cereal box, and then using index cards for the siding on the building. The advantage that Paul's models have is that they're already painted. And so I'm going to be painting my cardstock And that is one extra step that you and Paul don't do when you use Paul's designs. But I'm actually going to be painting mine, and I'm going to be using an acrylic-based type of craft paint that is in some places as little as 50 cents or $1 a bottle that someone can buy, or you can use the alcohol in India stains as well, like the Hunter line, but you can make your own with 91% isopropyl alcohol and some India ink if you have it around. And that is a good way to begin as well. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing, is using Paul's drawings as a template and actually starting from scratch with cardboard and index cards, as well as a little basswood bracing.
Well, Paul, what got you into card design and card modeling, Paul?
Oh, I'm just an idiot. What can I tell you? No, but what I want to point out is how easy it is to kit bash and just modify a card kit. Because once you have the first print, you can make as many prints as you want, which is going to give you extra wall sections and anything else that you might need to add a personal touch to it. Now, I want to strongly advise the modelers to watch both Dave and Father Ron and decide on the technique that they want to do, or possibly combine the two and personalize the model. I don't need a whole bunch of people making the same gas station that I did. I want you to personalize it if you can. I think that's more fun and more of a challenge. And what I'll be glad to do is anybody who wants to try and personalize it, just contact me via Facebook or whatever, and I will gladly help you make some different parts, maybe personalize it with some different signage. But I want this to be your model, not my model.
And, and I can assure you that Paul is really sincere about that. Because he has made for me all of the card models that I've used for years now in the articles that I write for both S-Scale and O-Scale when I write about card modeling. And he can personalize it. He can do it pretty much any way that you want it. Perfect example of how he worked with me is the model that he designed for me for my motorcycle gang that I wrote about and created for S-Scale. And Paul designed the clubhouse and got the signage and got all of the information put together and gave me, in effect, a print that I could use to build the motorcycle gang's clubhouse. So you can personalize it. You can make it what you want it to be, the age that you want it. It's all doable, and I can't emphasize enough that you need to contact Paul if you have questions or want to customize it once you've seen it on our website, because he's worked with me and I know he'll work with you. So with that said, David, Father Ron, do you have anything else you'd like to say about this before we actually start building it pretty soon?
Probably the only thing I would mention, Jim, is that for anyone who has not tried card modeling before, is that give it a shot. You might surprise yourself. And the nice thing about it also is that if you're using your home printer, if you make a mistake, all you have to do is reprint the part that you made a mistake on. It's to me a lot more cost effective than if you go and buy a $50 or $60 basswood or laser cut kit. And if you mess something up, what are you going to do? You basically you're done with it. You got to buy a new kit if you want to make it. So with using the card printed by computer, if you make a mistake or if you want to change it or enlarge it or whatever, you've got all the materials at hand to do it yourself.
I was just going to suggest that if you've never done card modeling, start out with Paul's designs and Dave's methods and go ahead and do it. And if you want more of a challenge, stick around and watch mine. And you can have a chance to challenge yourself to go one step beyond what Paul and David are doing. I'd also like to suggest, Jim, that perhaps you could get Paul to do a build along where he can show how he actually does the designs to begin with using Microsoft Paint, which is it's what you use, right, Paul?
Yes, it is. But unfortunately, I have no idea how to do that and video it. So I'm sorry. I mean, I can go on one-on-one with somebody and I can actually walk them through on the phone to get them to do the basics, but I have absolutely no idea how to put it on video. So in that respect, I'm very sorry.
Well, if we can find somebody that lives close enough, maybe we can get some help for you, Paul, because I know that it's the same as with the 3D card CAD modeling that Earl is teaching us. If we could get you to show us how to design it, I know that's something that you've wanted to do for people for a long time. And if we can get you some help, somebody that lives close to you, to help you with the video part of it, I really think that would be a fantastic thing to put on one of our shows, because I think it would help a lot of modelers and encourage people to at least try card.
If anybody's good with the computer, contact me, please. I'll be glad to try and show you so that you can show someone else. I mean, I can't do it publicly, but like I say, I can do it on a one-on-one, and if you can do it publicly, by all means, please share.
Well, let me ask this then. If we can't find somebody to come over to your house and help you do it, is there anybody out there that would like to learn from Paul how to do it and then come on the show and show all of us how to do it? If you would be interested in doing that, if you'll contact Paul and just let me know that you want to do it, and we'll schedule you on the show. How's that, Paul?
Sounds like a winner.
All right. The other thing I'd like to mention is you don't need a whole lot of tools for this, do you?
Absolutely. You need, as far as the design work, you need nothing. Everything's free. Paint is free. There's plenty of textures that are on the internet that are free. Like I say, everything for the design aspect, it's all free. For the build aspect, you're going to need your typical hobby knives, razor blades, and whatever that you would use for any kit. So what can I tell you?
Well, Dave, Father Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that if you had a number 11 X-Acto knife and maybe a metal ruler and some white glue, you're in business.
Yes.
That's about all you need.
Pretty much so.
So it's fairly inexpensive to get started in the hobby and actually start adding structures and try your hand at building models. It's fairly easy, simplified way to do it. So gentlemen, thank you so much for wanting to show everybody how to do it on the show. And thank you again for all three of you being here this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.